Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to talk about escaping the matrix. Or, if you don't like that term, getting out of the rat race, right? The one that we're all familiar with. Getting out of the 9-to-5 grind. I have not done it yet, but I'm close. I'm getting there. And I want to tell you the exact steps I have taken to get as far as I am. My net worth, comfortably over $500,000. I have 3 rental properties. Rental properties. I have about 50,000 cash, 50,000 stocks. So I'm doing okay, right? For the amount of work that I put in, I wish I've done better. I've been working very hard, saving, being frugal, working multiple jobs, right? But I'm better off than most. So I'm not there yet, but if you're not anywhere close to where I'm at, please hear me out. Let me try and help you. Let me give you the steps to start going in the right direction. First, and I'll go through these quickly. I know these are kind of boring. You got to save every penny you possibly can. And I'm talking turn in, you know what? Actually, I don't know this. Somebody comment down below. In Oregon, you're allowed to turn in cans, right? Like a soda or a pop can. You're allowed to turn those in and recycle them for 10 cents. And I think they may be lowering that to 5 cents. I'm not sure. But I don't know if that's a nationwide thing or if that's just an Oregon, hey, we're green and we want to keep it that way thing. I don't know. But here you can turn in cans, right? Or pick up pennies on the ground. Do extra work. Yes, I had a full-time job, and then on the weekends I did landscaping work for random people that I didn't know, through friends of friends, through Craigslist, through Facebook. People needed help moving stuff. People needed blackberries being pulled. I did all that crap. Save every penny you possibly can and earn as much as you possibly can. This is going to be very, very hard. This is where everybody stops because it's hard. Not only do you have to work your regular job, you have to take overtime. Not only are you working overtime, but you need to find other ways of making money. And I'm not talking about get rich stuff. I'm not talking about starting an Etsy page. I'm not talking about drop shipping. I'm talking about like actually make money, like right now. Like you need to trade all of your time for as much money as you possibly can. And if it's $5 an hour babysitting, if it's $10 an hour picking up dog poop, $15 an hour covering somebody's shift, whatever it is you got to do. Make more money. And then the next thing you got to do is you got to save all of that money, cut all the expenses. Get the cheap cell phone plan. Don't buy new shoes. Don't go to a store unless it's to get food. Do not go to a store. And when you go to get food, go to the cheap store. I hate to say this, try to get on some government assistance, right? Like if you can get some type of food stamps, if you can get unemployment, if there's some way for you to get some money, get it. Whatever it is, right? Whatever you can do, get the money. And then if that wasn't hard enough, if you're already thinking, oh shit, Brandon, come on, man, that's hard. Yeah, it is. That's why everybody's poor, because they're doing the easy thing. Here's the deal, you guys. If you didn't like that, if you thought that was already hard and you've already clicked off, for the rest of you who haven't yet, you have to do that same thing, work really hard, trade all of your hours for money, and save every penny you can. Now you need to do that for a long period of time. How long can you get punched in the face, have crappy shoes, have the same undershirt? How long can you not buy the watches and stuff? How long can you keep the same crappy phone until you have enough money to buy an asset? That's right. That is the beginning of you getting rich. Is you have to buy assets. It could be gold and silver. Sure. It's not going to pay you any dividends. It's not going to give you any cash flow, but it is an asset. Will it go up in value over time? Yes. Could it be stocks? Yes. That is an asset. That is something that goes up over time. Could you lose money? Yes. Could you be really smart and buy a property at a really good price and make money, make tendies, as they say? Yes. If you know what you're doing. Could you lose money? Yes, if you don't know what you're doing. But you can invest in the S&P 500 index, low cost, low expense fund, and just pile your money in there. Obviously, not the money that you're keeping for emergency expenses, right? Above and beyond that. Or you can do my personal favorite, which is buy real estate. And that's what I did. I grinded, and I can tell you this for absolute certainty. May of 2018. May of 2018. I'm 31 years old. I was 25, and I decided I had enough. I said, I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of the boss. I'm tired of the landlord. I'm tired of being told what to do by these people and only living for the weekends. I had enough. And that was what it was for me, is I had enough, and I wanted to be in charge of my life and my future. So I started working as much as I possibly could, making as much as I possibly could, and saving as much as I possibly could. Those three things, right? Make as much money, work the extra hours, save it all, work more, save more. Just keep doing that repeatedly for a long time. May of 2018, and I closed on my first asset. I don't really think I put any money in stocks. I literally kept everything in cash. July of 19 is when I bought my first house. And it wasn't the purchase of the property that started me on my way to getting rich. It was what I did with that asset. I lived in one of the rooms of a 5-bed, 3-bath house. Now, in hindsight, do I regret buying such a massive house? Yes. Did I wish I had known what I know now, and would have I done something different? Yes. Did I make a mistake? In the long run, no. Short term, yes. I don't think I should have done that. Luckily for me, how home prices skyrocketed because of COVID, because of low interest rates, cheap money, right? Everything's more expensive now. So the property is worth way more than it was when I purchased it. Number 2, by living in one of the rooms, I was able to turn that liability, because remember, a home is a liability. Anything, including the car that I'm in right now, my cheap Hyundai, is a liability until it makes you money. So cars are liabilities, but if you use them to go to work, if you use them to do work on the weekends, if you use them to Uber or whatever, it becomes an asset because it helps you bring money into your bank account. Very important distinction. With the house, it was a liability, and most homes are liabilities unless you rent out the rooms or rent out space. You can rent out your garage to somebody if you want to convert it into a like a little living area, like an additional dwelling unit is what we call it here in Oregon, an ADU. If you want to rent it out to somebody who wants to park their boat or their jet skis or a classic car, and they pay you a rental fee for $100, $200 a month to have the space. You need to start having your property make you money. But what I did was I rented out the other bedrooms. I, at that time, was 26, like about 26 years old, and I didn't have a kid, and I just had a girlfriend. So it was me and my girlfriend, and she did not help at all when it comes to the down payment. So she was not on she did not help me qualify. So all of the people in the comments who are gonna, oh, you had, no, No, every single one of my properties, I've saved up every penny of the down payment myself, and I am the only person on title. Nobody helped me qualify to get those properties. Did it entirely by myself. So if you have a partner, consider yourself blessed. Very lucky. Use that. Obviously, you guys may not be together in the future, so be prepared for that possibility. So just be mindful. But what I did is I rented out all the rooms. And by renting out all the rooms, I turned that property that was cash flow negative $2,700-ish. And I ended up still being cash flow negative, right? About $500. And so I was on the hook for that. So was I living for free? No. I basically ended up having to pay all the utilities for the house, about $500. However, was I living cheaper than all of my tenants? Yes. I was charging them more than $500 a month rent for the rooms that they were renting. Could I find a place for less than $500 a month? No. Could I find a room to rent from some other landlord for less than $500 a month? No. I was living cheaper than pretty much anybody could, unless you're living in an RV that's paid off, or you're, or living in a tent, right? But for living in a house, living in a room, $500 a month, good deal. So, what did I do? I took all of the money that they gave me and I used it to mostly pay off the mortgage. So what could I do with the money I was making, right? Because I was still working a full-time job. I was still doing part-time work every once in a while, right? Because I was spending a lot of money fixing the house. But I was tired. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I was tired. Doing that for an entire year to put $15,000, $13,500, $15,000, I can't remember exactly, down on a house. That was my down payment. Doing that for an entire year just to buy a house that needed work, so I had to spend more money and more time fixing it up. I was tired. Not gonna lie, you guys. I know people like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone are hustlers, and they grind 24/7 every day, 365. I'm just a human. I'm a mere mortal, and I was tired. So I still had my job. Was I burnt out? Yes. Did I want to not do it anymore? Yes. Did I have no choice? Yes, because I was still poor. In fact, I had $385,000 in debt on this house. And I had $5,000 left to my name, basically. So now I was in debt. But I would consider it good debt. I would consider it good debt because it was making me money. So I took the money they gave me to pay off the mortgage. I took the money I was still making from my work and everything else, and I saved it. I didn't celebrate. I didn't pop bottles. I didn't take it to the club. I didn't make it rain. None of that. I stayed home. I stayed frugal. I continued saving. And a year and a half later, about 2 years, because COVID happened, it delayed things. I lost my job, so I had to get a different job. Anyways, about a year and a half, 2 years later, is when I was finally able and qualified to purchase another property. So what did I do that whole almost 2 years? I saved money. And remember how before, within 1 year, it took me the entire year to save $20,000. How much money do you think I saved in 2 years?